Well, it's finally time to review the last two packs for consoles. Yes, this Tuesday, March 26th, Frontier are releasing the Eurasia and Oceania packs for consoles. These are the last of the packs included in the Season Pass, meaning all 16 DLCs are on consoles, with packs like the Zookeeper and Barnyard packs still to come down the line. Today we'll be looking at everything in both of these packs, Eurasia and Oceania. I will give my own thoughts on the animals, the pieces, everything included, so I can help you make your decision if you are contemplating getting these packs or not. So let's waste no more time and start with the Oceania pack. Well, first of all, it's a scenery pack, so it includes 5 animals. We have the North Island Brown Kiwi, the Tasmanian Devil, the Little Blue Penguin, the Quokka, and the Spectacled Flying Fox in the walkthrough exhibit. The pack also comes with over 200 scenery pieces themed after the tropical landscapes of Polynesia, which range in usefulness. We're going to divide and conquer looking at the animals, construction pieces, and the nature pieces, because I usually do the construction and nature pieces together, but in this pack they are very different from each other and how useful they are, so we're going to split them up. And then at the end we'll wrap up everything back with like a overall thoughts kind of section. So let's start with the animals, of course. First of all 5 animals represent the theme and region very well. The Tasmanian Devil and the Kiwi specifically are 2 animals that were very requested at this time, so a lot of people were happy with their inclusion, and I have to say that I was as well. It's also nice that these two seem to have been given the most love in terms of quality and animations. The Kiwi has a few new animations that makes it even more adorable running around in its enclosure, as well as the textures on it being stunning. The Devil is my personal favorite though, as it too has a couple new animations like yawning with its wide jaws and the beautiful textures and colors of it, especially on its ears, one of the signature markings of the Devil, those bright red ears. These two are probably the key players of this pack. They're the animals that you will get the most out of and will probably enjoy building for the most. Moving down a slot to the third animal that wasn't that requested, but has grown on the community a lot, and myself, the Quokka. I remember when this pack first came out, this animal got a lot of backlash because it's not that common in zoos in like the real life, and it just wasn't necessary. Fast forward to the day, and the Quokka fits pretty well with the rest of the Australian roster. I've only built for it once, but it's a pretty fun one to build for. You could even make a marsupial section of your park, seeing as we now have a bunch of different sizes for kangaroo structured creatures, like red kangaroo, like the large kind of setting, and then wallaby is like the medium, and then you have Quokka, which is like the smaller animal of the bunch. So you can have like that kind of like kangaroo kind of groupings there. Overall, I feel like it works well as an oddball, and seeing how there wasn't too many other picks for its place, I think it's a worthy inclusion. And finally, down to the last 2 animals, the Little Penguin and the Spectacled Flying Fox. I saved these 2 for last mainly because they don't drastically change how you build for them, compared to other species in the game. By now we've already had 2 penguins in the game, the African and King Penguins, and with the 3rd penguin it doesn't really change or introduce anything new with how you build for it, which for me docks at a couple points. Same with the Flying Fox. It's cool that we now have a species of Flying Fox, but for me I see it as a less cool alternative to the Egyptian fruit bat. Now that being said, if you don't have the Twilight Pack or the Africa or Arctic packs, or not the Arctic Pack, the Aquatic Pack for the penguins, and you like some of the other stuff in this pack, then I would recommend getting this pack. Again, these 2 are at the bottom because they have very similar counterparts already in other packs, which you may have by now, but they don't necessarily look bad. They look actually really good for their quality. Okay, so looking at it overall, all 5 of them together, I wouldn't really say that any of these are essential animals. Since this pack was released so late in the cycle and was like the 15th pack released, there's not as many essential animals to go around, which makes sense for like the roster of this pack. With this pack you get 5 animals that, despite looking very nice, none of them are very crucial to Australia sections in a regular zoo compared to something like the kangaroo or the koala. If you're looking for basic starter Australia animals, I would recommend you get the Australia pack first, because it has a lot more of those flagship animals. But if you already have the Australia pack, or you're just attracted more to these ones, get the Oceania pack. This pack's main strength for me personally is being a perfect sequel to Australia, giving it an upgrade in almost every department. So let's move on to the construction pieces of the pack. I'm going to keep this part really short and sweet, because honestly my thoughts on this are pretty straightforward and clear, so let's get into it. So let's start with the positives. Right off the bat, all of these pieces are super useful if you're going for what the pack's theme is. Meaning, if you're someone who wants to create like an island zoo or a tropical paradise kind of zoo, then this pack will probably have a lot of pieces you will like the tikis, the surfboards, roof pieces, etc. Secondly, the pieces in this pack are way higher quality than those in the Australia pack or just older packs in general. Doesn't mean they're all useful, but just means that they actually look better visually. Now, getting more specific, there are a few pieces in the set that are useful in any situation, like outside of the tropicalness and just going on a general kind of realistic kind of state, such as the netting pieces. Personally, I don't use these a lot, but I've seen many others praise these and use them in like aviaries, make some pretty cool netting enclosures. I personally use the mesh pieces a lot, but these are a great alternative to that if you're more inclined with like making like a rope kind of aviary. As well as those, you also have another set that is actually pretty useful is the rope coils. I know there is a different set of these, I believe from the South America pack, but if you don't have that pack, the South America pack, then this pack also includes some like nice kind of like alternates to that as well. But honestly, now we're going on to the negatives. Outside of those two sets of pieces, truthfully, I don't use too many of the construction pieces from this pack. One piece that almost makes the cut is the stone block. The textures for this piece look amazing, and I'll throw it up on screen, but the piece is so thick that it's just straight like a 1x1 meter block, and it's so difficult to use for anything other than maybe like making a path out of it that you just can't really use it so much. Like I would love to use this kind of texture for a fence, but it's so thick that you basically can't do it. Okay, let's move on to better news. Let's talk about the best thing in this entire pack, the foliage. This pack comes with some amazing foliage that I use in almost every single one of my enclosures. The pack comes with an assortment of palms and ferns like the cabbage tree or silver fern. I don't use all the foliage pieces. In fact, those two I just listed are usually the ones I use the most, but they are so useful for creating tropical enclosures. They look amazing and they are just so nice to have in rainforest sections. So what's the conclusion for this pack? The animals are great quality, but not that essential to a zoo. The pieces in a realistic setting are barely useful, but in an island or tropical setting they have potential. And the foliage is, personally speaking, the best in the pack. Would I recommend it? Depends. Like I said, if you're going for more essential Australia animals, maybe go for Australia Pack first if you're looking from a animal perspective. But if you're just wanting to expand your Australia roster and get some very useful foliage, then go for it. Anyway, let's move on to the Eurasia Pack. This one's going to be a lot less work to review since it is an animal pack. This pack comes with 8 animals: the whitescent, mute swan, wild boar, wolverine, takin, saiga, sloth bear, and in the exhibit box, the Herman's tortoise. This pack combines Europe and Asia into one condensed animal pack. Now, right off the bat, I will say that there is a dramatic difference between the European and the Asian animals of this pack. And let's see what I mean here. If you look at the European animals of this pack, you had the whitescent, the boar, wolverine, swan, and the tortoise. Almost all of these are very well recognized animals, and if they aren't, they are very iconic to Europe specifically. The whitescent is basically the flagship animal of Europe, and the boar and swan are locals in the area. The wolverine is a bit less known, but it's still a popular species, seeing it as it was the #1 on the made-a wish list at that time. So all of these feel deserved. They feel like they should be in the game because they are very important to the roster overall, and if not, they are very important to Europe. After this pack, many people after this pack released said that Europe is complete now, with all the crucial animals covered, and honestly I have to agree. Now jump to the Asian species of the pack. First of all, there's only 3. Takin, saiga, and sloth bear. We're given a 5:3 ratio from like 5 European animals to 3 Asian animals. None of these are very essential to Asia. In fact, I don't think a lot of people in general know what any of these animals look like without a picture. I do like the inclusion of them, but it was just interesting that Europe really seemed to be more favored and highlighted in this pack than Asia. I think the main thing this shows is, and how it helps you as the buyer, is if you have no packs and are looking for European animals, I would definitely recommend this pack as well as the Europe pack. But if you were someone looking for Asian species, or Asian animals, I direct you to the Southeast Asia pack. Now, that aside, the animals themselves and their quality look quite good, perhaps some of the best in the entire game. There's a few new animations here and there, like with the saiga's nose, and there's the swan with an entirely new rig, which I pray to the gods they reuse for a pelican or duck in the future. And the textures for stuff like the takin and the sloth bear are just amazing. The sloth bear's textures are brilliant. I haven't used it yet for like an enclosure, but I really should. So overall, would I recommend this pack? Like I said before, if you don't have the Europe pack, or if you just want to get more European animals, get the pack, why not? But if you're looking for more Asian animals, consider getting a different pack, as this one only has 3. And there you go! That is my review of both the Oceania and Eurasia packs. These packs come out on the 26th of March, and if I'm releasing this when I want to, that would mean that they are releasing tomorrow. Hope you all have enjoyed it, and if you did, please hit the subscribe button and like the video, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye guys, have a great rest of your day.